When the invisible woman became the most powerful person in the room, no one saw it coming. The office was already buzzing with the energy of the early morning rush, but no one noticed Evelyn as she quietly entered through the side door, rolling her cleaning cart with her usual steady pace. She wore her dark green uniform like armor, her face calm and unassuming, betraying none of the emotions she kept carefully tucked away to the executives. She was invisible, just the cleaning lady, the person who wiped their desks, emptied their trash cans, and occasionally exchanged polite nods with the few who acknowledged her existence. It had been like this for years at Hawthorne and Beck, a thriving corporation in the heart of Dallas, Texas. Evelyn, now in her mid-50s, had grown used to the routine and the dismissive looks she overheard the jokes they made when they thought she wasn't listening, the way her presence was treated as an inconvenience. "Sheck not even doing anything right now," someone had muttered just last week as she quietly waited for them to finish their meeting so she could clean the conference room. But Evelyn didn't react. She never did. She kept her head down, her hands steady as she worked. She knew better than to give them the satisfaction of a reaction. What they didn't know, what no one in that office knew, was that Evelyn had a secret so powerful it could turn the entire building on its head. But Evelyn wasn't impulsive. She believed in patience, in watching, in waiting today. However, as she made her way down the brightly lit hallways, her calm demeanor hid the fact that she was nearing her breaking point. The morning unfolded as usual. Evelyn polished the glass doors to perfection, vacuumed the thick carpet in the lobby, and organized the cluttered desks of those who never thought twice about leaving piles of paperwork behind. She worked diligently even as conversations about big deals and promotions floated through the air. One conversation, though, caught her attention. She wasn't trying to eavesdrop. It wasn't her nature, but the voices were loud and impossible to ignore. "The shareholders' meeting is next week." One executive said, his tone was smug, bordering on arrogant, "and we've got nothing to worry about. The board loves the numbers and the CEO is untouchable." No one in their right mind would challenge him. Evelyn paused for just a moment, gripping the handle of her cart tighter. She knew what they didn't. They had no idea how wrong they were. But Evelyn didn't let her thoughts linger for long. There was still work to do, and she had to be ready for what was coming. Hawthorne and Beck prided itself on its sleek, modern image. Its headquarters, a towering glass building in the middle of Dallas, was often featured in business magazines as a symbol of corporate success inside. However, the reality was far less glamorous. The culture was ruthless, and the higher you climbed, the less you seemed to care about anyone below you. Evelyn had spent nearly a decade in those hallways. Quietly observing, she saw the promotions handed out to the loudest voices. Not the most qualified workers she saw, the whispered deals behind closed doors, the way people covered up mistakes by pinning blame on those with no power to defend themselves. And then there was the CEO, On Greaves, a man who exuded authority and arrogance. In equal measure, Allen was the kind of leader who commanded respect through fear. His voice boomed in meetings, his sharp comments silencing even the boldest executives. To him, success was all that mattered and people were tools to be used. Evelyn often heard his sarcastic remarks about employees who didn't fit the image. "She's still here." Evelyn had once overheard Allen say about one of the older secretaries, "Why haven't we retired her yet?" It's not like she's adding value. It wasn't just the comments, the company was rife with unethical practices that were swept under the rug. Bonuses were quietly cut for the lower-level staff. Even as the leadership team celebrated record-breaking profits, Evelyn heard about inflated expense reports, shady client dealings, and even the quiet firing of a whistleblower who dared to speak up the cleaning staff. Evelyn included bore the brunt of the culture. She'd seen her co-workers brought to tears after being scolded for leaving a speck of dust behind. She'd seen their paychecks stagnate even as the workload increased, and of course there was the constant dismissal of their humanity, the way people avoided eye contact, spoke down to them, or treated them as if they were part of the furniture. One incident still burned in Evie's memory. A young intern had accidentally spilled coffee on the marble floor near Allen's office. The intern froze, clearly terrified, as Allen rounded the corner. "Are you kidding me?" Allen snapped. His eyes darted to Evelyn, who had just walked by with her mop and bucket. "Clean this up." He barked at her as if she were at fault. She didn't say a word. she didn't need to the intern. AP eyes profusely, but Alan waved him off with a dismiss.